Ladies, gentlemen, it's nice to see you today, the 25th of September 2024. So, what are we going to study today? We are going to study something about a simple past tense, and in this case, we're going to solve the second evidence of this module, of this course, English as Word Level 4. So, we're going to study some grammar in order to solve this activity called personaje histórico writing. This is in the form. So we're having two sessions, the 25th and the 28th, I mean today and the 28th, to develop this activity. So according to the learning guide, the learning guide says, okay, to decide to, yeah, to develop this activity, we need to know this. Al hablar en el tiempo pasado, no solo hablamos de nuestra propia historia, sino de la historia del mundo, y ahí se abre un abanico de posibilidades en donde podemos transmitir infinidad de historias e información. Sabiendo esto, para llevar a cabo la presente evidencia, revise el componente formativo, que ahorita lo vemos, y teniendo en cuenta y teniendo como fin la participación en el foro, escoja un personaje ilustre o famoso de la historia y realice las siguientes acciones. ¿Por qué es importante este personaje y cuáles son los 15 eventos que más destacan en su vida? Y esos mismos eventos van a estar organizados de manera secuencial, eh, en orden pues, cronológico. ¿Vale? So, in order to develop this activity, hello, Jazz. So, in order to develop this, I was saying, in order to develop today's activity, we're going to study. Hello, Marlene. Okay, I'm going to do a quick recap. Today, in this session, in the Saturday's session, we're going to study. Yeah, we're going to complete the activity number 2 related to the forum personaje histórico, and we're going to develop this activity in this week until the 1st of October. So to do that, we're going to have two sessions in order to study what topics we might need to develop this exercise. So we're going to meet on the 25th, I mean today, and also on Saturday, the 28th. So according to the learning guide says, al hablar del tiempo pasado, no solo hablamos de nuestras propias historias, sino de la historia del mundo, y ahí se abre un abanico de posibilidades en donde podemos transmitir historias e información. Sabiendo esto, para llevar a cabo la presente evidencia, revise el componente formativo, que ahorita lo vemos dónde está, y teniendo como fin la participación en el foro, escoja un personaje ilustre o famoso de la historia y realice las siguientes acciones. So, when we are choosing an important person in history, the idea is for us to choose somebody who has done something good for humanity. Please try not to choose somebody like Garavito, right? The guy who died last year, the murder of kids and so on. So please choose somebody who has done something amazing for humanity or for the country or for society, for your municipality or something like that. Okay, so the idea of talking about this person is to mention 15 events that are the most important in his or her life, because we don't know if it's a woman or a man, and please organize them in sequence. I mean, not 2004 and then 1997 and then 1925 and then 2009. So please do it in order, and you're going to tell us why is this person important in history. So in order to check some information we might need to develop this activity, hello, we're going to check this componente formativo that we are going to find in Sayuna. So you already know how to join to Sayuna, therefore I'm not going to spend time there. I'm just going to, oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot to choose the ID. Okay, so we go to Sayuna. We open English.work level 4 because this is our group. And in guía de aprendizaje, here is componente formativo. Wait a minute. Learning Guide says down memory line por el camino de los recuerdos. This componente formativo down memory line is going to help us to develop the activity we need to present in this week. So you already know how this works. Click here para acceder al recurso educativo. Here is the information, the most important information you're going to need to develop this activity. In fact, we have already studied the simple past tense, therefore this is not new, but you're going to focus on that. Where you're going to find some more information in the platform. Okay, so this is it about the platform. We don't need to check more information about this. We don't need to mention anything else about this activity. I forgot something. How are you going to present this evidence? This is an interesting question, right? So we go to Sayuna, we click in Guía de Aprendizaje, and we then click again in Foro Personaje Histórico. Some of your partners have already participated, for example, Neila, Juan, Marjorie, and so on. And they have mentioned something about, I don't know, for example, Policarpa Salabarrieta, Christopher Columbus, Simon Bolivar, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and so on. And they have said something about them. In fact, I have already given them some feedback, and I have told them, for example, something that's missing. For example, in our case, Neila forgot to mention supported the civil rights movement. Who supported that? John Federal Kennedy supported the civil rights movement. So don't forget that when we are telling a story, we need to use the verbs in past. So this is okay, supported, boosted, created, won, married, and so on. But remember that we need to mention the person or the group of people is doing this activity. For example, Neila did an excellent job here. Not perfect, but an excellent job. This is an example you might take into account to solve this exercise. How do you create a new debate? Clicking here, añadir un nuevo tema de debate, and that's it. So this is the exercise, this is the activity we are going to present. So to do that, we're going to remember, in fact, how the simple past tense works. We already studied that, but it's important, I think, in my opinion, to remind you how this works. So you already know that simple past tense has two sides. It's like a coin, so it has two ways to understand it, to study it. The first part is by studying verb to be. We're going to focus today on this, and the second part is studying the second. The second part is related to other verbs like create, believe, arise, work, do, and so on, because these are regular and irregular verbs not related to verb to be. So we said that with simple past tense, if we compare simple past tense, we're going to say that simple past tense is incredibly similar to simple present tense in terms of grammar, because we need a person who performs an action in present and a person who performed an action in past. The only difference, or more precisely, the main difference is seen in the verb. Because one thing is to say, Marcos believes in God, and the past form would be something like Marcos believed in, I don't know, in love. Let's suppose that. Let's be a little anti-romantic. So, or with an irregular verb, I wake up at 7 a.m. versus I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Wake and walk, because this is an irregular verb. We also said that in simple present tense, the negative sentences and the questions have an auxiliary verb. That's going to be the verb to do. And in simple past tense, we have the same thing. We have something similar. But the difference is that the auxiliary verb is going to be mentioned in past. That's it. That's everything that changes in terms of grammar. So we're going to play a game. I hope you can play the game. I hope so. So let me see. Where is it? Oh, yes, here it is. I'm going to give you the link in a couple of seconds. Let's play this one because not a lot of people is present here. Only 3 minutes. Free. Link. Chat. Of course, the material is already in the platform. In fact, meanwhile you go to the game, meanwhile you are in the game, meanwhile you join the game, I'm going to show you how to check the information. So you go to Zayuna, right? And in Zayuna, you go to Sesiones en línea. In Sesiones en línea, you click in Grabaciones, Sesiones en línea. And in here, in Grabaciones, Sesiones en línea, you have to look for the information related to the day I have been presenting this information. So, for example, last week, I uploaded this summary, línea de tiempo, because remember that línea de tiempo was divided in two parts. Today, I'm teaching you something about the forum. So here is the summary of today's session and also the summary of Saturday's session. And next week, because it's going to be something about a test, I'm going to practice something, some text with some texts, and the idea is for you to speak and read. No, the same thing. To speak by reading a text and to answering some questions and so on. So the summaries are here. So the only thing that's missing is the recording of this session because it's obviously not possible to upload the recording if I haven't done the session yet. So the information is here in Sayura. Don't worry. So there it is. Okay, let's wait. I'm waiting for you guys to join to the game. My pleasure. Whenever you want, Jasmine. I'm waiting for you to join to the game. And I think we can start, ¿vale? I don't know if Marlene is ready. Marlene, sorry, not Marlene, Marlene. But meanwhile, because we need to take advantage of our limited time, I'm going to start the game. Good luck. I'm going to skip the tutorial because you know how this works. Remember, this is only simple past tense. Therefore, you're going to have regular and irregular verbs in affirmative, negative, and questions. Oh, welcome, Marlene. 40 seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, and that's it. Okay, we don't need to check the podium for obvious reasons, but we can continue checking the information in here. So, yeah, so this is the recap of simple past tense, the recap we needed to do last week. Do you remember that we wanted to do this recap? So, we have already done it. Now let's begin with today's session because this is something that we have already studied, so this is not new for you. So we're going to focus on the second part of the simple past tense. We said that in simple present tense, I'm going to make a parallel here. With simple present tense, we said that we have two sides of the coin. We have verb to be and the management of other verbs. The same is going to happen with simple past tense. We have already studied how other verbs work, I mean regular and irregular verbs. Now we are going to focus on verb to be. So to do that, I want you to remember that people are going to be important because they are going to perform actions, activities, and these people, instead of mentioning Christian, Gabriela, Santiago, Pepe, and Carlos, Gabriela, Tatiana, and Christian, you and I, for example, instead of mentioning these kind of names, we can do something more general, and the more general form is to mention their is first, second, or third person of singular and plural. So instead of saying Marcos and I, we could say we. Instead of saying Mariana, we could say she, and so on. Okay. So they are going to perform activities, and the three most important activities they are going to perform are the verb to be, ser, estar, to do, hacer, and to have, tener. So this is something about simple present tense. In past, these three verbs are also important, also the most important verbs in English and also in Spanish and Italian too, because they are going to be auxiliary verbs at the same time. They are not going to be just the main verbs, but also auxiliary verbs depending on the context. So in simple past tense, the verb to be is not going to be conjugated as am, is, and are. It's going to be conjugated, of course, but it's not going to have three forms, three conjugations. It's going to have only two. And these conjugations are going to be was and were. Where for all the plurals, again, it continues on this way, but I join with Marcus, Mariana, and the rhino. So we together, I mean, we are in the same group. We are alone, but we are in the same group. The conjugation for us, for I, he, she, it, for the verb to be, is going to be was. For the others, for everybody else, is going to be conjugated as were. So this is the verb to be. The verb to do is conjugated as did. We have already studied with simple past tense, with simple past tense because we saw that the verb to do in simple past tense form is conjugated as did when it's an auxiliary verb used in negative sentences and in questions. So this is not new. And the verb to have is going to be mentioned as had. In this case, we are going to use had for perfect tenses. This is not important to mention it now. I mean, not we are not going to do present a lot of details because this is not the idea of this level. But I can show you the conjugation, and this is possible to mention. So The negative form, if you remember how to create the negative form for each verb, we only added the word not after the verb. After the verb to be, after the verb to do, and after the verb to have. Once again, have not or haven't, or the conjugation has not and hasn't, is for perfect tenses. I'm just mentioning this, but in future levels, level 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that, you're going to see how perfect tenses work. But for now, I just want to mention that this is the structure, and I guess you have already studied this before. So to create a negative sentence in simple present tense, we only add the word not. In simple past tense, we do something similar because we just add the word not. And we have already studied did not can be conjugated as didn't for I, you, he, she, it, we, they, right? And the verb to be, the conjugation of the negative way is going to be was not, and the contraction is going to be wasn't. By meanwhile, were not is going to be also conjugated as weren't. I mean, this is a contraction because in simple present tense we had this contraction, right? Do you remember? Are not could be also mentioned as aren't, could be also mentioned as are not. They're not, for example. They aren't, or they are not, for example. With negative sentences, we have the same structure. We have something similar. We do something similar because we can contract the negative form. Instead of saying was not, we could say wasn't. Instead of saying were not, we could also say weren't. So this is not very complex, I guess. Okay, so if you remember why we used the verb to be in present, we said, for example, Mariana is tall, Mariana is at home, Mariana is young, Mariana is single, Mariana is my best friend, and so on. Mariana is tall, attractive, kind, and so on. All those reasons why we studied verb to be in simple present tense are the same reasons why we study verb to be in past tense. So instead of saying, for example, I am at home in this moment, we could say, I was at home yesterday. Obviously, the context changes because I cannot be here today and at the same time not being here today, right? So we need the context. For age, the same happens. For example, we could say she is 19 years old, but in past would be she was 19 years old. When? Last month, because today is 20 years old, for example, right? So the only change is with the verb to be, the conjugation of verb to be, because the reasons why we study verb to be in past are the same for locations, age, marital status, single, married, and so on. Relationships, for example, friends, cousins, brothers, and so on, relatives. For feelings and emotions, for example, yesterday I was tired, but today I feel energetic. For example, this is a comparison between past and present, for example. Physical appearance, when somebody is 13 years old, 12 years old, is very different than when he or she is 21 years old in terms of physical appearance because this person has grown. If he is a guy, maybe he has developed some beard and so on, for example, maybe. So personality might change, maybe. Time, occupations, for example, in terms of occupations, maybe, for example, we could say you were working, you were a firefighter in 2005, but today you are I don't know, a doctor, maybe because you studied a new career. It's possible. And nationalities, especially, but not only, especially used when somebody dies. For example, this person died, so he was American, right? Abraham Lincoln was American, for example. Let's suppose that. So, once again, The reasons why we study simple present, the verb to be in simple present tense are the same reasons why we study verb to be in past. The only change is the conjugation of verb to be. That's it, nothing else. And once again, if we compare past form with present form, this is the only change. A person who performs an action. Mariana is engaged. Mariana está comprometida. In past, Mariana was engaged. That's it. The only thing we need to be aware is the conjugation of verb to be and obviously the context with the adverb. We could say, for example, when negative, we are friends. In past form, we were not enemies. Let's suppose that. In with questions, is your sister I don't know, blonde? ¿Es su hermana rubia? Or with question, where, oh no, sorry, was your sister, I don't know, feeling good? Because the color of the hair is a little complex to mention in past. Okay, so was your sister at home last night? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. Okay, so the way we create sentences, affirmative, negative, and questions, in present tense and in past tense are very similar. The most important change is the conjugation of verb to be. That's it, nothing else. So this is a very easy topic. Therefore, we're going to play a couple of games, two in fact. The first is going to be with quizzes, and then we are going to play it with Kahoot. Yeah, wasn't where. I'll give you the link in a couple of seconds. Yeah, here it is. And there you have it. I'm going to join the game. I'll try to join the game. So you can play against me. Okay, I'm in. I'll wait for you until the 43, okay? 443. And then we will continue with Kahoot. I'm not sure if you can join the game, ladies. So I guess I have a better idea. I'll play the game. Wait a minute. Sharing my screen. What's the pin number? 006781. 006781. So, meanwhile you get into the game, I'll try to play the game here, sharing my screen, so you can answer the questions around, along with me, okay? And I'm going to wait for your answers. Okay, Jay. So Jay is like Mariana in the park this afternoon because this is a first person of singular. I mean, she or maybe he, we don't know. This is not very obvious, right? But it's only one person. So let's check the information here quickly. We said we use was for he, she, and I. This is definitely not a plural person. This is a single person. This is maybe a she. So we must say she was in the park this afternoon. Okay, Mr. Bishop and Miss Good. Remember that we use Mr. and Miss with last names, not with names. We cannot say Mr. Andrea. Sorry, Mr. Gabriel and Miss Andrea. This is not possible. We need to use the what's the name? The last names for Mrs., and Mr. Okay, in this case, they are together. This is a plural way to mention them. So therefore, we use were. They were at a meeting all day. Let's go with the next one. If you can type me your answers here, it will be even better. So, the bathroom clean. The bathroom is it. The conjugation for it is always was. In this case, the bathroom was not clean. I'm going to play until the 10th because we need to take advantage of the time, okay? Okay, next. The concert, okay? No, horrible. So this is a question with a question about the concert, a singular noun, it. Therefore, we need to use was. Was. We have three possibilities, right? We have three possibilities. Let's go with a sentence, the answer. No, it horrible. Because we are still talking about the concert, everything must be related to the same subject. Everything must be with was, right? So first option, it might be correct. Third option is not correct. And the fourth option is not correct, right? Because it would be like, no, estaban horrible, right? There is some kind of contradiction here. ¿Estaban el concierto chévere? No, no lo estuvo. Estaban horribles. It's something like that. So this doesn't have any sense. Therefore, it has to be was, wasn't, and was. George at work last week. George is he. Therefore, we need to use was. My friends at the cinema. Friends. It's they. Because it's they is not only one, we need to use where because it's plural. My father, who is my father? He, because it's a singular person, we use was. Last three, sorry. I, because I am alone, In this case, remember that with I, we use the conjugation of was. I mean, I am not alone. I'm with he, with Mariana, and with the animal, okay? With the dog, with Luna. So in this case, I have to use I was and I was. I was not in New York. I was in Seattle. Number nine. Child is only one, niño. Children are more than one. It's plural, niños. So the children could be replaced with they. So with plural forms, with plural nouns, in this case, we use were. And the last one, while Pamela, right, is only one, therefore we need to use was. Option A and option D are possible. In the office, Oscar and Kevin, it's them, a plural noun. Because they are together, we need to use were. So was and were. What's the correct option here? Option D, red one. And that's it. I'm not going to continue with the game because I wanted to give you the answers. And that's it. And I'll just play this here. So if you can complete the game, it would be great. Let's finish with you, and as soon as you finish, I'm going to stop the game. Okay, look, let's finish. Yes. Okay, great. 95% of accuracy. Awesome. That's good. Because I didn't finish, I have this accuracy, but it's because I didn't finish the game. Okay, look, well done. Let's go with another game, a related game, and this is with once again a verb to be in simple past form, but in negative sentences. Okay, we're going to play the same game, so 3 minutes is more than enough, and you have to collect the what's the name? The diamonds, and like here, look, collect the diamonds, and that's it. You must avoid everything else. You're going to play against me now. Where is the chat? Here's the chat. Okay, look, let's go. You already know how it works, so break a leg. Holy Jesus. "24 seconds." 4 seconds. And time up. Okay. So at the end of the game, we have no third place. Second place with 7,600 points is for Jazz Lady. And the first place is for Zed with 9,000 points. Good. So, well done. Thank you for participating in this game. Let's go with the next exercise. Okay, we already know how Vertibig works in past. And something related to this is the use of this is not important anymore. Yes, this is important. So another thing to mention is related to Bert B is the use of there was and there were. You have already studied there was and there were. I think it was in level 3, I guess. I'm not really sure. I think you studied this in level 3, if not in level 1. I'm pretty sure of that. But there was and there were is similar to there is and there are. The only thing that changes is that we are not using a subject like I, you, he, she, we, they, and so on. Instead of using this subject, we are going to use the word there. So because there was and there were, it means like hubo, había, right? In present would be I, but in Spanish it's difficult to use the word is easier. I mean, to use the word I, because hay una pera, hay siete peras. The word doesn't change. Doesn't matter if it's only one or many. In English, this is very important because the concept changes according to the amount in both in affirmative sentences, in negative sentences too. So taking that into account, there was is the past form of there is, and there were is the past form of there are. That's it. So there was is used with singular nouns, and there were is used with plural nouns, and that's it. So instead of saying once again I was, we use there was because the grammar is incredibly similar, is extremely similar. Once again, the only change is that we don't use a subject like he. Instead of that, we use there, and that's it in terms of grammar. But in terms of use, that's what I mentioned before, means hubo. Hubo una pera, habían siete peras. There was and there were. There was for singular nouns, there were for plural nouns. And to that, take that into account, we also need to be careful that everything must be organized, related in accordance to the context, according to the context. I mean, singulars with singulars and plurals with plurals. Example, with affirmative sentences, this is even better to mention to be mentioned with singular with affirmative sentences. We are using there was as a singular form. Therefore, every single amount and every noun must be used in a singular way. There was is singular. The article at level 1 is singular, and the person is also related in a singular form. There was one person, there was a person. We cannot say there was 7 person or something like there was a persons. This is not possible. This is not coherent. And we need to be coherent. I mean, everything in singular or everything in plural. Okay? What about plurals? There were, because this is plural, we need to mention everything else in plural. Jackets, plural, and a number, 5. There were 5 jackets. Or level 1. If we don't want to mention the specific number because the number is not important for us, we only want to mention something plural, and that's it. We don't need to know the amount. Or maybe it's an uncountable noun, but once again, we cannot count it. If we use some. There were some jackets. How many? I don't know. Is it important the number? No, it's not important. But everything is in plural. There were jackets and the article or the number. Okay? What about negatives? Like in simple present, like in verb to be negative sentences, we only add the word not, and that's it. When I arrived home, there was not any food, or the contraction, there wasn't any food. We use food as an uncountable noun because food cannot be counted. So this is why it's used as a singular noun. There was is also singular, and we use any when we cannot count the amount, or also with negative sentences, right? For plurals, there were not any malls open in my neighborhood at the time because it was too late, 2 a.m. So everything was closed. Man, we are not in Disney, so sorry. Okay, there were plural malls, plural. Everything's in plural, and the number is not important. But if the number were important, we must mention a number bigger than 2. We have 2. In this case, there were not, or the contraction, there weren't 5 basketballs in the team. What about questions? The same thing we do with verb to be. I mean, we modify the order of the words, like in Spanish. ¿Estaba usted en casa? This is a question. Usted estaba en casa. ¿Estaba usted en casa? Usted estaba en casa. So the difference between affirmative sentences and questions is the order. We only modify the order between the verb and the subject. That's it. In this case, it happens the same, right? Instead of saying there was, we ask, was there? Was there a McDonald's in your neighborhood before pandemic, before 2021? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. But I'm mentioning only one. Was there, singular, article singular, right? And the McDonald's is only one restaurant. I'm not asking for 3 McDonald's restaurants. Something's missing here. Oops. Yeah, that's better. What about this? Plural. Were there any apprentices present today? Maybe 7, maybe 10, maybe 2. Everything's in plural. Apprentices, more than one. Were there? According to grammar, is in plural. And any, or 27, because it's a big amount. Okay. Any in this case, because we are creating a question where we are not offering anything and we are not asking for anything. This is level 1, so I'm just reminding you something you already know. but I just want you to remember that. So this is everything we need to know about there was and there were. In fact, there's no more information about this. So the exercise now is for you to complete the game. I'm going to play against you again. I'm going to play this one now. Meanwhile, you join the game. I'm going to give you the link. Give me a moment. Not the link, the... Oh, yes, the link. Oops, yeah, better. I'm going to tell you the rules. Meanwhile, the objective is that Tower Blue has to defeat Tower Red and vice versa. How do we do that? We do that by surrounding the tower of the enemy or taking the most possible territories in the map. That's it. The most possible amount of territories in the map. Oh, okay, yes, lady. So, Marlene, are you there? You wanna play? If you cannot, I'm going to stop with the game. Doesn't matter. I'm going to wait for you 1 minute. If you cannot join, I'm going to quit the game. Okay, I guess you cannot join the game, so it's okay. I'm going to leave the game. I guess if we have time, we will play it next time. Okay, so doesn't matter. Next week on Friday and on Saturday, I mean, we can play it. Just remind me that. And I want you to do a short exercise. And this exercise is this. You are going to have this text. Oh, okay, it's okay. Don't worry. Next time we will try to play it. Don't worry. You're going to have this text, and the objective of this text is to find the verbs in the sentence. That's it. For example, Martin had a terrible day yesterday. What's the verb in past? In this case, is had, nothing else. Second sentence, it was the day of his vacation to Spain, but it was a nightmare. Where are the verbs? The verbs are the verb to be was, and once again, was. That's it. You only have to identify the verbs. The idea is for you to be conscious of the activities, obviously the text, but the most important part is to understand what activities are being mentioned in this exercise. Okay, this is the first activity, and the other activity I want you to complete for the next session to take some advantage of the time is where is the yes, here it is to complete this other exercise. This other exercise is very easy. It's not long, it's easy. The idea for you, the idea is for you to complete this exercise conjugating the verbs in braces, I mean play, enjoy, not, do, and so on, but in their past form. For example, the Smurfs is a cartoon from the 80s. This is the simple present tense. How do we change this into its past form? We would say the Smurfs was a cartoon from the 80s. Okay, that's everything we need to do with this exercise. And the idea is that on Saturday we will correct the information in the text in here. Okay, so that's it. That's everything we need to do for this exercise, and we will continue on Saturday. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'll answer to you by via Sajuna here in the chat or in the next session, unless that you want to mention something right now. If no, I would say thank you for coming today, and I will meet you on Saturday. Okay? Thank you very much for coming, and have an excellent weekend. Have an excellent day. Take care.